Have you decided to launch your own clothing brand and are not sure of the next steps? Or maybe you've already launched it and are not seeing the results that you imagined? We've come to the right place, because in this video we're going to talk about how to build a solid foundation for your brand and set it up for long-term success. I'm excited to share this. Let's do it. Hi, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Chris, and in 2022 I launched my own clothing brand in the UK. VÉLOKInd is a sustainable cycling apparel brand inspired by the freedom of riding. I've created this channel to connect and inspire fellow entrepreneurs along their own journeys to create successful clothing brands. It's intended to be a safe space for us to come together, share honest thoughts and experiences in order that we can grow together. I'm not pretending to have all the answers. I've had some success over the last 12 months, but also made plenty of mistakes as well. These videos are intended to be an authentic reflection of my own experiences, which I hope you'll find useful and interesting. So you're here because you've decided to do something potentially amazing and launch your own clothing brand, or maybe you've done so recently and are now just gathering some information in order to understand how best to tweak what you've already done. As you'd imagine, I've absorbed a huge amount of information and content along my own journey to get to this point. One of the things that I noticed when watching other videos is recommendations to start with a brand name or a logo. In my experience, whilst important, this is not the best place to start. The best place to start in order to set yourself up for long-term success is to build a solid brand concept. And by that I mean why the brand exists, the brand purpose. Whilst they may exist, there are relatively few clothing brands that are built purely on the functional nature of the products they produce, because in order to do that they'd need some form of technical product advantage that acts as a USP for them. Of course, this may come in time for established brands, but even those established brands know that they need to connect with their customers on a much deeper level in order to maximize the full potential from their brand. I may be wrong, but the likelihood is at the moment that, like me, you don't have that technical product advantage, and therefore you need to differentiate your brand on the basis of how your products, how your message makes people feel. It's possible to do this on the basis of how your products look, the aesthetics of the product. People buy products for status, of course. But in my opinion, the most powerful way of doing this is through having a meaningful and powerful brand purpose. Of course, what you do and how you do it is extremely important, but why you do what you do is the most powerful way of connecting with your audience. If you're enjoying this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could like it. It'd be a really good indicator for me as to whether this sort of content is valuable to you. Thanks a lot. So how do you go about defining that brand concept, that brand purpose? You will arrive at your own brand concept via your own unique path, and that's important. Every clothing brand founder's story is unique, but I would ask you to consider starting by looking to yourself. Maybe you have a seed of an idea, and that seed of an idea is there for a reason. Give yourself time to reflect on where and why this idea really came to you. Is it possible that the motivations for you wanting to create a clothing brand in the first place could become inextricably linked to the brand purpose and the message that you want to share with others? In my own case, I identified in myself after lots of self-reflection that I'd spent much of my adult life not living to my full potential and not living as my full self, which had ultimately left me unfulfilled, but actually finally motivated to begin creating change in my life in pursuit of personal and financial freedom and ultimately fulfillment. However, and critically for me, I'd identified that true fulfillment would be dependent upon me inspiring others along their own journeys, their own paths of self-discovery and freedom. So I aligned my own individual purpose with that of my brand VÉLOKInd, a sustainable cycling apparel brand inspired by the freedom of cycling and on a mission to inspire positive change in others. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Let me know in the comments below about your own brand purpose. It can take some time to arrive at your own brand concept, but I believe, certainly in my case at least, that this alignment between my own purpose and that of the brand has been extremely powerful, because I'm absolutely committed to that in my life, and I know that others are experiencing the same too. For me, the challenge is now to create a brand built around that concept and appeal to a sufficient number of people to create a financially sustainable brand and encourage positive change in other people's lives too. Having this alignment has been really important to me, particularly during the difficult times which will inevitably come. Those moments of self-doubt when you think about quitting. You come back to this purpose because you realise that it's a mission worth pursuing and worth sharing with others. Not only that, but once you have this clearly defined purpose, everything else just cascades from it, from the products that you create to all the communications. And it's this critical thing that gives you the foundation upon which to showcase a consistent brand which consumers understand. Once you've really distilled the brand concept, you then obviously have to look to the market. Is there sufficient evidence in the marketplace of a customer base whose needs can be met by this brand? It's tempting to build a brand which appeals to the widest possible audience, but in doing so you appeal to no one. The most powerful brands have a very clearly defined customer base and build a product and communications around targeting that specific community. This leads nicely on to customer and competitor profiling, which I'm going to talk about in future videos. But in the meantime, I wish you all the best in arriving at your brand concept and your brand purpose. Be patient with yourself and enjoy the process. In my experience, it takes a long time to really distill it into just a few key words. There's a funny little thing I like to imagine myself on the bus or on the train sat next to a stranger and I'm wearing my VÉLOKInd t-shirt or hoodie and he says to me, "What is VÉLOKInd?" And I respond with, "Why is VÉLOKInd?" And I say, VÉLOKInd inspires positive change. We inspire fellow cyclists to discover freedom on and beyond the road. We just happen to make great clothing. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and join me in the next video here where we talk about what to expect when starting your own clothing brand.